Zach Ellis, and welcome to my journey. I don't know where I'm going or how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to be tearing shit up every step of the way, along with a few friends, of course. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be building, modifying, repairing, fabricating, and racing every chance I get. But if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, and of course, enjoy the video. Back again in the garage. This time I actually have what I need to install the electric cutout in the car. So I am going to go ahead, get this thing put up into the air, get underneath it, pull the exhaust out. Well, I gotta let it cool down a little bit, but get it up in the air, pull the exhaust out, mark where I need to cut the exhaust. Hopefully everything lines up close to where I need it to, and then we'll plumb in the cutout. Alright, so we got the car up in the air. I went ahead, I put the fan in front of it just to try and blow some cool air up under there and cool the exhaust off. While the fan's been running, I've been kind of going in and out from underneath the car taking measurements. Here is the cutout. You saw in the last video my intentions were to install the new exhaust and install the electric cutout, but that was before I realized that the exhaust is a 3.5 inch, my downpipe is 3 inch, this is 3 inch. So the one thing that I was missing to make the whole thing work was tapers. So this is a 3 inch to 3.5 inch taper. I ended up making my own last time. It kind of took a little while, but I made one. It did what I needed to do. Now today I can install this. This is my plan. The V-band clamp that we put in last time at the bottom of the downpipe, I am going to put the other end of the V-band clamp on this end of the cutout. So the, I guess the receiving end of the cutout. Gonna cut off, I gotta cut about 1.5 inches off of it. I'll put the V-band clamp up here. This is going to bolt into the downpipe. On the back side, I'm going to put another V-band clamp here, and then I'm going to weld a V-band clamp to the small end of this. So this is going to be V-band clamp to the tail side of the exhaust, and then this end, the 3.5, will weld straight to the exhaust. So now the exhaust system will always go stepped up from a V-band clamp straight to the 3.5 inch exhaust. Which all that's going to allow me to do is, say this thing's bolted into the car or V-band clamped into the car, and this thing fails for whatever reason, or I decide that I don't want to have it under the car anymore, I'll simply undo the V-band clamp here, V-band clamp on the front side. This will be dropped out, and I just have to make a replacement V-band clamp straight section. So now that I know everything I got to do while the exhaust is cooling off for a little bit, I think I'm going to go ahead, trim up the cutout, weld a V-band clamp to this side, weld the V-band clamp to this side. Then I'll drop the exhaust out and weld it all up. Once all the welding's done, then I've got to route the actual cable for the electric cutout. But, alright, enough talking. Let's go ahead. I'm going to start fabricating on the actual cutout itself, and then we'll get this thing all buttoned up. So, we got the V-band clamps tacked on both sides. One thing to note with the, I guess the higher end V-band clamps are just a different design, but if you look at that mating surface there, you see how there's a little lip that has a male end sticking out on that one. On this one, it's got a drop and it's got a female side. So basically, these V-band clamps have a female and a male side. So I've already went under the car and disconnected the downpipe from the exhaust, and I saw that I have the male V-band clamp flange on the downpipe and then the female on the exhaust side. So basically the exhaust is flowing backwards. The male always goes into the female, which is the direction of the exhaust travel. So I did male on the downpipe, female on the inlet side, and then I did a male on the exhaust side of the cutout. This way I can always remember that, so if in the future I want to do something to the exhaust, I already know, like, oh, I replaced my downpipe but I lost a flange or whatever it is. I know exactly what flange I need. Just kind of keeps everything streamlined, keeps everything copacetic, and it prevents me from having errors or holdups down the road. So got that thing all tacked up. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the exhaust out of it, and then we will measure, take a cut on the exhaust, and then we will start adapting this thing to the new exhaust. Alright, so we got the exhaust up in the car. It's sitting a little low right now because my jack stand doesn't go quite high enough, but there's the cutout plumbed in, and then here is the mating surface. It's obviously, this is sitting a little low. When it's lined up in line with the muffler, there is a slight gap. So I didn't do a very great job of not cutting too much. So it's about a 1/2 inch opening at the top, and then it's about a 1/16 of an opening at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead, take the pipe that I cut off, I'm gonna flatten one surface, and I'm just gonna cut, essentially it's a 45-degree pie cut. I'm gonna cut that out, come back under here, test fit it, see if it fits in the right location. If it all lines up perfectly, I'm gonna go ahead and mark the pipe so I know where it's supposed to be, pull it all out of the car, tack it all, throw it all back in again, and go from there. Alright, I got my pie cut made. It is setting up here, not perfectly because, again, jack stand's not tall enough, but it's going to go in here somewhere around there like that, and it's going to be welded up to this pipe. So now that it all's fit up, mocked up where it needs to be, I'm going to go ahead and drop it all out again and finish weld it, get it back into here, and we'll do a little test rev, see how she sounds with it open and closed. Alright, and just like that, she is in. We've got the downpipe to the cutout to the muffler, and then the rest of the way back at the exhaust. I'm going to change this hanger system. I don't really like how it was set up, so remove one of the nut certs. I just got to figure out what I'm going to do to make it right. But Here it is. The only other thing I think I have to do to the cutout, I'm going to take it out and put on like a 45-degree angle to kind of angle it down and away from everything. Right now it almost blows straight into the muffler, so that kind of sucks. So I'm going to go ahead, set the camera up back here a little bit so you can see the actual cutout. I'll start the car, maybe rev it a few times. I'm going to click the switch and hopefully it butterflies open and makes all kinds of noise to terrorize the neighborhood. Holy crap. That's kind of violent. Well, that's a installed cutout. I've got it 99% completed. I want to change the hanger method for the exhaust itself. So the cutout portion is done. I've got to orient it, but I want to fix the way that the exhaust is hung up under the car first. It's got the rear rubber mount, but in the front it has that little band. So once I get that hanger in the middle, that band there, changed out, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to change it or what I want to do, but I just know that what it is right now isn't working perfectly. But the actual cutout is installed completely. Since I use the V-band clamps, I can make adjustments to the exhaust, and I can just rotate that cutout within the V-band clamp. So it kind of gives me freedom to adjust things as I change the exhaust down the road. As you guys heard, I don't know how well the audio picked up. It's much more aggressive with the cutout open, obviously. I mean, I know I've just bypassed the complete exhaust, so once you click that thing open, it's pretty much unlimited cracks and pops. Maybe the next video, I'll just get a driving video, you know, riding around town, hitting some back roads. And I'll put my lavalier mic thing somewhere in the car to where it picks up the best audio. And hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm hearing through video. But all in all, for a $100 cutout, not that bad of a job. If you were to use like slip clamps, you know, cut out the section, put that in there and use the little slip clamps that you bolt in, this would take you 30 minutes probably. Obviously I TIG welded it. It took me 7 hours, 6 hours. It took me like 5.5 hours, so it took me for freaking ever. But with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Maybe it gives you an idea or two about how to do this to your car. And obviously if you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.